Any end in sight for the divorce? I mean, hopefully. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've ever spent more money on something and nothing has gotten done in my life. I really think lawyers just on both sides just file motions so they continue to get paid. Because nothing ever happens, nothing ever changes. Honestly, I should have been a fucking lawyer. It is the biggest scam ever. Like, ever. Yeah, we're gonna file this motion that's gonna do this, but it gives them, 30 days to reply, but the motion's completely fucking irrelevant. Oh my God, dude. Here's the bill for $9,000, man. We talked for 7 minutes.
The reason Nick's divorce is so polarizing is because he started out claiming there was no drama or fighting.
But I can't say there's no fighting or anything. So if anyone's looking for fighting or drama, it's not there.
Only for Malena to accuse him of financial abuse, which in some of the newest filings, she lays out some of her proof. Combine that with him coming clean, stating he hasn't talked to her in over a year, it's safe to say no one gaslights their audience more than Nick, unless it's Hassan trying to convince people we didn't see him shot Kaya.
America, Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop.
Going back to the divorce proceedings, Malena also accused Nick of cheating on her while she was tending to her mom. Pointed out how Nick is spending all their money on its Kachi. In the new court documents, she finally names Nora the Explorer and Kachi as having a romantic relationship with Nick, but we will get into that later.
There is no legal separation in Texas. So if you have moved on before that final divorce decree has been signed, that is considered adultery.
This is likely why Nick and Kachi are trolling about them having a friendship but keep getting caught slipping.
I'm glad you guys are happy and in love.
Yeah, we're just friends.
Excuse me. I mean, because friends can be in love with each other.
You sure about that?
Friend.
Which is so true, because friends.
Sure, Nick denied cheating on Malena, and how could he, because Mr. Arthur was all over his at TwitchCon. Nick cheating is going to have a bigger financial impact in his divorce. She was going to file a motion for Nick to buy her a car and give her access to their bank accounts, along with requesting lawyer fees and financial support, while Nick was trying to seal the case like your favorite streamer's RP wife. Malena agreed to temporarily seal it, but where there's a will, there's a way. Maybe Nick doesn't want you to know about how much money he's about to lose on top of the $7,500 a month in spousal support he is already paying. Nick already didn't want my 85-year-old self to read his court docs, but here we are.
You probably might see all the account numbers once the case gets unsealed, and you guys can go through my documents, because I don't know why in God's green earth, divorces are public knowledge. So you have your opportunity soon enough, motherfucker. Or you can watch an illiterate man, who's 85, try and go through the documents if you want to do it that way too. It's okay.
I'm like, what do you say f me for?
Listen, you guys call me an idiot for getting another lawyer to explain stuff, but you guys are the same people that listen to HenryResilient and think he's telling the truth. Hello? You call me the idiot? Look in the mirror.
Nick's divorce is about to get more expensive because Malena is officially asking for more than half, and I suspect Tectone knew this because he said this in the clip.
I'm gonna say a hot take. I think Malena treated Nick like shit. I do. I am genuinely someone in the side of, I think Nick was actually too good for Malena. I think Malena was a vile, bitter, cruel, disgusting person. I've never had anybody be worse to me than Malena, because she's very pro-woman. Yeah, no, I mean, I think NMP just lost a lot of weight and wanted to lock the f*** in order to secure a girl. That way he would see that Nick can succeed even without her. And now she's trying to take 70%, which is like, ugh, Jesus. I mean, damn. And it's crazy how the internet is so against NMP that they actually think she deserves all that money and Nick doesn't deserve any of it.
70% is a very specific number, and Tectone didn't come to that conclusion just himself. He didn't just guess that. Chances are he spoke to Nick and Nick told him.
Accusation!
Based on a response to an interrogatory, she is demanding a disproportionate share of the estate based on Nick being at fault, and you combine that with his alleged financial abuse. Now, before we go forward, I want to point out that all these court documents were legally obtained. As I stated, my channel out is purely to educate people on divorce. Despite Nick's strong feelings about me or my ability to read, as someone who has been in his shoes while being divorced, just pay her the money. I get it, whatever she's asking for, it may seem like it's unfair, but I promise you, Nick, you will make it back. Instead of giving the lawyers money, put it in her settlement and save on lawyer fees. Yes, for the record, Nick is right. I am just a father trying to feed my daughter. Nick, thank you for making that possible. I really appreciate that. Nick complains about how the expensive the divorce is while simultaneously dragging out the divorce process because early on, Malena had to file a motion to compel him to share mostly financial documents.
Motion to compel in family court is when you are asking the court to basically court order them to answer their discovery questions or produce documents that you had originally asked in the discovery phase.
But he was happy to pay her half, right?
No.
Now, before we get into all his publicly available court docs, we really should wish him a happy 10-year anniversary, as he has been married over 10 years. Remember, in Texas, you're either married or you're single. Texas does not acknowledge separation dates.
If you and your spouse are no longer together, but y'all are technically still married, did you know that half of all the property that you acquire, half of it belongs to your spouse? And of course, I'm a Texas attorney, so anything that I discuss on this TikTok only applies to Texas. Now, what a lot of people don't know is Texas does not recognize legal separation. So in Texas, you're either married or you're not.
Since his marriage crossed the 10-year line, signifying a long-term marriage, that puts Malena in a position to secure easily $300,000 in spousal maintenance. But because he already agreed to pay her $7,500 a month, maybe she's in a position to secure $450,000, but this could offset should she actually be awarded or given the 70% of the marital estate.
There's two types of alimony in Texas. There's temporary alimony, and then there's alimony that would occur after the divorce process is finalized. Alimony after the divorce is finalized is disfavored in the state of Texas. What the court would rather do is give the party who needs alimony a disproportionate share of the community estate.
So I've seen Nick at his lowest, at his highest, and legally, I do agree that Malena's entitled to a certain good amount because she was married, but I don't think that percentage you talk about, which is 50%, I don't think that she deserves that. No offense. I do think that she did a lot. I know she was like a soldier on the front lines. She was working pretty hard. She does deserve something. But the amount that she's legally entitled to by the law, probably not. But like I said, it's still legally entitled to. So that's a whole different topic.
This is based on most of the court orders she filed on September 17th. This was a victory for Nick because remember, he wanted mediation. He requested the court compel Malena to enter mediation, and it was granted. Mediation officially started September 30th, but not sure how it's going considering he's still not streamed on his main channel, and according to Malena's filing, she's still locked out of the marital accounts. Should mediation become a failure, there are some key dates that Nick has coming up. If Nick and Malena fail to agree on a buyout date, according to the judge's notes, the two will have a trial date set for January 12th, 2026. The date of December 15th, 2025, that was set, which may turn into a settlement conference since it's already on the books. Expert opinion reports are due October 31st and may be amended up until November 12th. This is for evaluations of companies like OTK and a handful of other businesses they own. Depositions are to be completed by November 14th. Do not get your hopes up, short of them leaking depositions of each other. They will likely never see the light of day. Lastly, pretrial evidence, witness lists, and exhibits are due December 10th. Before that, there are some other dates. Don't worry about him commenting on this because both of them are enjoined from doing so. On July 30th, they both agreed not to make public comments regarding their ongoing divorce. It's in his best interest to come to a deal because Nick is on the hook for legal fees. He already shelled out $25,000 to our lawyers. Should mediation be unsuccessful, Nick will have to pay another $25,000 to our lawyers. On top of that, Nick has to pay Malena's experts $25,000. All of this money is to come out of community funds. Any money Malena receives, Nick will get a credit for when it comes down to the financial settlement number.
Nick, I audit attorney fees. Look up legal audit services if they tell you to pay for Malena's fees.
It doesn't work that way. It's all community estate.
For example, let's say she ends up collecting $200K in support and legal fees, and Nick uses about $100K for his legal fees. Then it turns out the combined community estate is worth $1 million. Then Nick would only owe Malena $300,000 to finalize his divorce. But I suspect they're worth more than $1 million, and Malena will walk away with more than 50% anyway, as she has a slam dunk case. Do not worry, we will get to the community assets listed in the court filings. Continue to go through the agreed orders. Nick has to reissue a new credit card for Malena from their Chase account. Remember, she claimed she was frozen out of all the accounts, and it looks like she will have a credit card now. But I saw no mention of her having access to any other accounts in the court filings. So maybe the judge just is going to let Nick continue to control all of the family accounts and pay her out of it. When it comes to smaller personal property, Nick has to inventory it, and Nick has to grant access to his home or her attorneys and a third-party designee to inspect personal property. But also for the Pokemon and Magic the Gathering cards will be categorized and appraised. Since the order went into effect on September 17th, it's safe to say it happened already.
Flashback.
Oh my god! Yes! Nora! Oh my god!
Oh my god.
$8,500. All three. I can't believe it, dude.
How rare is that?
I've never seen it. You pulled it! Oh my god! Oh my god! What the? It's a real box. I got it from Island. I paid $10K for it. Perfect box. You wanna know why it's perfect? Because a perfect person did all the pulls.
No.
Yeah.
End of flashback.
It will be interesting if he has to give her cards she wants, or will she want cash instead?
If you want to keep your Pokemon cards after a divorce, you either put it in a prenup or a postnup, and as long as it says you get them after the divorce, you'll be able to keep them.
Last part of the order states Malena has to set up a date for her to do the same. I wonder when this happened, did people in Austin stay hush hush about it? And is this why Nick chose not to travel with Iskachi to the Philippines? Now that that's out the way, let's get to see what they own and what else they will likely have to split. July 9th, Nick's lawyer accused Malena of not providing documents and answers to their interrogatories. Nick accused her of not sharing bank statements, specifically from some Norway account, not sharing information about any debt she has, not outlining her monthly expenses, not sharing her monthly income compared to her expenses, not sharing documents pertaining to real estate owned, not documenting her separate property. He wanted her expert witness reports, which is odd because, at this point, she has no access to anything to report on. Also, she did not provide travel records or credit card reports. And lastly, any privilege logs. This is all standard boilerplate requests you see in all high asset divorces. In his 106-page filing, Nick would also share the 20 interrogatories that he asked Malena to answer, most of them all money related, like, for her to divulge any bank account she owns. But the big question he really wanted her to answer was how much of the community property she was going to ask the state to award her, and for her to justify why she wanted such a division. The non-money related questions are if she believes Nick's caused the breakup, and if so, why? If she committed any act of family violence since January 22, which is odd because it's not like for the whole marriage. If she had been intimate with anyone besides Nick ever in the marriage. Lastly, if she thought Nick was intimate with anyone else, when we know she does. For the most part, she objected almost all requests for productions of documents, citing she didn't have access to them and or them being in Nick's possession, which would make sense for all of the stateside accounts, considering she alleges he controlled all the money. Originally, her official answer was to object to all financial requests, but based on later court filings, they both have shared all financial records with each other. But she did leave the door open to supplement her responses, which is pretty standard. Now let's get to what Malena believes they own. When it comes to companies, she believes they own a stake in OTK, which is understandable because she actually does. She believes they own a stake in Starforge Systems, which I can see that as well, as Nick constantly advertised for them. Most people have forgot about Mad Mushroom, which is an influencer-led company that is aimed to help smaller game developers launch their games. According to the website, they have launched 5 games with one on the way. I did not know this, but does Nick and Malena have a stake in Mythic Talent Agency, which is some of the biggest streamers on Twitch like Asmongo? I also found it funny that when Mythic Talent announced signing Nick, they also announced signing Izkachi, his girlfriend, or for legal purposes, that's his friend that happens to be a girl. And we cannot forget about NMP Productions. I imagine this is the company that collects all the revenue from YouTube and Twitch. She also leaves the door open, saying that there may be other companies that she does not know about because she was not provided much information during the marriage. When it comes to domestic and international investment, she said she was unable to give a substantive answer because there's property in Norway that they own. As far as her having an interest in a trust, she declined owning one, but brought up the fact that Nick has a trust and she knows absolutely nothing about it. I think his trust is protected provided he did not put any marital property in the trust, because if he did, that can make the trust a party to the divorce.
Trusts and divorce, definitely a source of contention and litigation. First thing you should know is that anything that you acquire by inheritance is presumptively your separate property. So the general idea is your parents have left you a trust, you're not gonna have to divide it in divorce.
What, you're an inheritance guy?
No.
How much, like $1 million?
No.
Oh, okay. How much?
350,000.
No way!
When it comes to the division of property, she objects to answering it because it will require her to show all her proof, and she intended to offer it up at trial. However, she is firm on wanting a disproportionate division of the community assets based on being Nick's fault and them breaking up, along with her future earning power, future opportunities, and separate property of the two of them. The answer officially makes it an at-fault divorce, with the blame being put on Nick. If a judge can conclude Nick was at fault, she could be awarded more than half.
Texas offers both no-fault and fault-based divorces. No fault means you two can't get along, something like irreconcilable differences. Fault-based divorces are an option for you that you can discuss with a lawyer and would be granted based on grounds like infidelity, cruelty, perhaps domestic violence. You may use fault in filing your divorce in a Texas-based case because you want to file for a disproportionate share. And what that means is because this other person had some sort of wrongdoing or fault in the breakup of the marriage, I should get more of the estate.
When it comes to tangible property, she claims they have a property in Norway, 6 bank accounts, the 2023 Escalade, the 2021 Nissan GTR. She lists all of the previous business, but notes she does not know the legal names. As far as community debt, they have 2 credit cards, some leases, but states discovery is ongoing. Crazy part about this divorce proceeding is Nick's lawyer asked Malena if she ever spent over $500, which she objects, but she does name 3 instances which were gifts. Person 1 was given a gift that cost $1,800. Person 2 was given a gift that cost $3,150, and person 3 was given an iPad as a Christmas gift, which all purchases, get this guys, was approved by Nick. Can you imagine wanting to buy a friend or a family member a gift and you have to ask your millionaire husband permission to buy something that costs less than $2K or an iPad? Like, what the fuck?
Am I allowed to buy something from here?
Yeah, are you gonna carry it around? Why are you asking me? Like, you don't control the money. Holy shit.
Now, Nick did ask if she thought he was at fault, and she did not hold back, transforming this into a fault-based divorce, like I said, which will allow her, if granted, to get more than 50% of the community estate. She reiterates that while they traveled to Spain to care for her mom, who was battling cancer, Nick left to travel to Amsterdam to attend TwitchCon. When he returned, she found photos and pictures and messages between him and another woman in his phone. Considering Malena name drops Nora the Explorer and is catchy later, do you think that the woman in his phone was a different woman? She explained that throughout the marriage, Nick maintained exclusive control over the finances, along with unilateral decision-making on spending and distribution of funds. Any of her spending had to be requested and then approved by Nick. Lastly, she states Nick was very controlling over their online presence and content they posted online. The 3 above purchases and him controlling all the money lays the foundation for financial abuse, which ultimately gives the discretion to the judge to again award her more than 50% of the estate.
let's talk about financial abuse. If you and your spouse have agreed that your spouse is going to work and you are going to work in the home, meaning take care of the home, take care of the daily needs of the children, you should still have access to your marital funds, meaning your spouse's paycheck. If you don't, that is financial abuse. If you have to ask your spouse for a credit card, their credit card, to get cash or buy groceries or buy clothes for your children, that is financial abuse. If you have to ask your spouse for money to go and get your nails done or to buy yourself a new outfit, that is financial abuse.
Not to mention, she accuses Nick of spending their community funds on gambling, trips, paramours like it's Kachi, and excessive gifts. Literally, Nick is caught in 4K spending money on his Kachi and taking trips with her.
Oh, my man is down atrocious. 11K?
$11,000? I would just say you are a generous person, right?
I want to explain.
That answer cost $11,000.
What'd you say?
That answer cost $11,000.
Girl, you know it didn't cost that much. Oh man, dude. Tell him it didn't cost that much.
No, wait, wasn't it like 14K?
Why?
I'm sure he's going to try to convince everybody that it was Iskachi's money because we know she comes from money or something like that, but the credit card receipts don't lie. When it comes to cheating, Malena denies ever cheating on Nick. She also considered him asking her that question to be harassment, cited it was an abuse of the Texas rules of civil procedure. As far as her answer, if she believes Nick cheated, she says reference her previous answer, then goes on to say she was told by her friends and seen online that Nick has had a romantic relationship with Nora the Explorer, and it's Kachi. I wonder she didn't put like their real names in there because she knew, like, you know, that this was going to come out. Maybe she's protecting her identity, even though I would never dox him anyway. You see, in Texas, there's no separation date, right? I get it. In the eyes of everyone on Twitch, Nick and Malena are no longer together. But in the eyes of the court, right, and some old judge, Nick is considered married until he's divorced, meaning that Malena can 100% cite the reason for the divorce being Nick cheated, which also gives her more ammunition to make her case that she's entitled to more than 50% of the community estate.
Cheating spouse can be negatively impacted in the divorce. For example, the innocent spouse might get a disproportionate share of the marital estate. That means that they're going to get more than the spouse who's cheating. The innocent spouse may also claim that the cheating spouse wasted marital assets. Were they taking their paramour, that's a girlfriend or a boyfriend, around the world?
Got him. I get it. I'm sounding like a broken record, but this is the law, people. Now, after laying the foundation for Nick being a cheater and the financial abuse, she reiterates her knowing nothing about the finances when asked about her sources of income and current employees. She holds the line saying that they were content creators and they received money, but Nick controlled the finances, stating she has been in the dark for all of the money that they have earned. Next, Malena makes it clear that she stopped her career to support Nick when he asked her about her employment. She says she was employed as an assistant. They made the decision for her to quit being an assistant and help create content with Nick full time. This concludes her answers to the interrogatories, but after all that, what is she still asking of Nick? Based on everything in here, Nick is cooked, right? By cooked, I mean he's either going to agree to pay her 70% if that's what she's asking for, or he could fight it and a judge will likely award Malena everything she's asking for. Even now, right? If you think about all the orders and motions she filed previously for support, lawyer fees, etc., he agreed to pay for them. So in a way, she already got what she wants. I bet, you know, his lawyer told her give her what she wants. It's coming out the community funds, so he'll get her credit for it in the end. In the end, guys, let me know. Do you think she should get more than 50% of the marital estate?